want to start?
Rolling. Oh, we're rolling now?
Okay, go ahead. Do you want to start?
Yeah, well, people have always told me don't mix family and business, and
Who's told you
this
that?
is
Too
where
late
we're
now.
this
Who
is
has told
this is
you
where
that?
we're at. 30 years old. My business partner is my mom, my momager,
Ooh, lucky
and my
you.
sister is the full-time marketer that everything runs through on the listing side of the business. So kind of went against what everybody said, but I think it's working out.
I actually want to
Look
know.
how happy you are now.
Yes.
I actually want to know who told you that.
I mean, that's just an age-old saying. Don't mix
I know, I'm
family and
joking.
business. But I think it does help us out in the competitive advantage of there's always somebody behind us that we can trust. If one of us is not available, I fully trust my sister or my mom to make a phone call, help somebody negotiate, have the right conversations for consulting. But nonetheless, there are some butting of the heads. So.
Absolutely. Well, on the more serious side, from my side too, I always, say I'm so lucky that I have the two adult children who have, talents that I didn't have, and that being your financial background, your analytical abilities, your ability to interpret data. Genevieve's far more creative than I ever was and able to put great programs together. But I have to remind them pretty consistently that I'm the one that started this business. It's like back in the day
still the
sometimes
boss.
when they've been teenagers and I'm like, okay, hold on a second.
Well, I think the thing that's funny, my mom and John have very similar personalities. I'm a little more laid back, but we do all like to take control, which can, like John said, butting of the heads.
And talking at the same time a lot of times.
Well, you
Perfect
guys
example
are
right there.
You guys are professional talkers, so it's hard to compete with that.
No, we do butt heads, but we have the same values, and we have each other's backs, and that's hard to find with just when you go and try and find partners or other people to work with. Everybody has their own style, including the three of us,
Right.
obviously, but we're very committed to each other, our families, how we, just where we're at in life, and just a lot of
And
love.
I think, in a business that can be cutthroat in some ways, sales, very
True.
competitive. It's nice, like John said, to have a safe place within our team, family. We're not competitive with each other. We're always rooting each other on. And although we technically all are in sales, we all complement each other in different ways. So it's nice to, come to work and really collaborate and work together and,
Yeah.
And the one that we're missing today is my dad is also on the team here too. So he's
Luxury. He's the
He's the luxury. We call him luxury because he's actually the first one to ever sell a $1 million plus property on the house. So that's been for the team. So
Yeah,
that's
And
been
we
the
love
nickname.
little
And we
inside
laugh.
joke.
Yeah.
We laugh about that because if you know my dad, if you know Mike, he always has his Irish cap on. He's in his silver truck. Always has signposts.
He doesn't mince any words.
No.
If he doesn't like the house, if he thinks it's a bad house, you're going to know he thinks it's a bad house.
He's very blunt. He's great for the first time home buyers to tell them that this house is going to fall down sooner or be a money pit. But we do call him luxury. We also call him the janitor because he picks up everything in between.
Nobody calls him the janitor except you.
He does the signs,
Nobody
the
calls
lock
him the
boxes,
janitor.
the things that nobody else wants to do.
He's not owning that name.
Yeah. He
But,
can be a property manager. He's like the guy that's always behind the scenes. He actually could be behind there and not saying anything and listening to it.
No.
But no, he's he's instrumental. But the other two are Sharon, who could easily be Sharon Sheeran. She's been with me for 12 years starting the business. And so in the business longer than either of them. And she is our administrator. Nobody's better. Everybody I talk to that wishes they had an administrator that is as good as she is, and she's just really part of the family, as is Sarah.
Right. Sharon, can you wave through the window real quick? Wave your hand.
Sharon!
There she is, always behind the scenes.
There. Always there.
And then Sarah is also another honorary Sheeran that does a lot of the other behind the scenes stuff when people go under a contract. So a lot of our clients do get to actually interface with her and talk with her on the phone, but she's the one telling everybody when to get their deposits in by, helping getting the inspections set up. So it truly is the full service of the Sheerans and the honorary Sheerans to make sure that the process goes as smooth as possible.
Yeah. There's honestly about 100 steps from the time an offer is accepted until it closes. And we make we manage this like a CEO. We're going to make sure that everything is done properly on time.
Right.
But while we're out doing our things, with the listings and talking to clients, Sarah's making sure all those due dates are taken care of and that the clients know what's happening in their house or in the house they're going to purchase on a timely manner.
Yeah, because I think, everybody knows that it's hard to get an offer accepted these days in this market. And, people don't think about, okay, you get the offer accepted, and then you have to get the appraisal done. You have to get the home inspection done. You have to negotiate inspection items. So it's really important to have all those steps and all those tools to support you to actually get you to the closing table, because it's not just a easy cruise to the closing table. So it's nice to have that support.
We fully understand that people are busy with work too, and buying a house is a full-time job in itself. So we just try to take as much off your plate as possible, whether it's helping you get quotes on insurance, get like Genevieve said, getting the contractors out there, the inspectors out there.
And what's funny, like with Sharon, part of Sharon's job is just to be here and answer the phone, because a lot of times we're on a phone with another client or out at appointments, and she'll answer the phone because we want someone to have a person to talk to. But it is funny because some people will call and say, well, where's Mary, or where's Dawn, or where's Genevieve? And she has to explain, well, they're not here, but I'm here to make sure you have a live person. Exactly. But it's interesting that, I do think this is interesting, that if you call a doctor, of course you'd expect to get somebody or a lawyer on the phone that takes the message. But for some reason, people tend to think a realtor does everything.
Oh, and
you know what I mean? They're there to answer the phone and everything else.
And people tend to think that realtors work 24/7, which is why we need the team too, because we honestly almost do. So, so that somebody is available, that if somebody needs to be talking about an offer at Sunday at 9 o'clock at night, if the offer is due Monday at 8 a.m., that they do have somebody experienced and knowledgeable about the market to help them get that in. And there's nobody I trust rather than these two, even with Genevieve just swinging her chair into my leg nonstop during this podcast. But
well, I'm laughing because this whole time, like, our hands are just, we can't not sit still and, just talk.
Yeah, we're movers and shakers.
We are movers.
For sure.
And I know, I laugh because we do love doing these. It's nice to have conversations, but we are constantly thinking about who needs a call back, what transaction needs to be followed up on. Like, we're constantly just thinking about the next thing that we have to do. So it is hard for us to sit here.
Yeah.
And,
because there's always something going on. But I will tell you is that another role that Mike, and I call him Dad with these guys, is we have a lot of family occasions too. Like if it's somebody's birthday, Mother's Day, whatever it is.
Or my kids
Mother's
need
Day,
to be picked
whatever,
up. Or,
whatever it is. Yeah. So anyhow, Mike is the one that will say, because you have to make sure the business isn't bleeding too much into your personal life, which is so easy to do because there are no hours around real estate. It is pretty much when the client needs something is when you have to do something, right? So, but he is the one that if we've been talking about it too much, and I've always really appreciated this, he will be the one to say enough. Yeah. Enough. Well, now we're going to concentrate on whatever it is, the game.
That's more because Dad can't stand to hear about it anymore. 12 plus 15 years really for you. Yeah. Real estate does. It's a full-time job, and we work and live in this community. So it is, our lives are centered around real estate. A lot of it is. So, and it's, it's nice that you say Dad's doing that to keep us in check for our balance of life and work, but Dad just can't stand to hear about it.
Yeah, that's probably, that's the reality probably too.
It is the reality.
But the other thing is I know sometimes we'll text at night, and it's good. And I've even been thinking of it as a parent with your concern and with you because of the hours you work is because you have your time with your kids at night, sometimes you just have to shut it down. Yeah. And you just because we want you to save your sanity and be in here for the long run.
Well, I mean, I enjoy working the long hours when the
What? Wait a minute, what did he just say?
When the clients need the help, I'm here to definitely help them. And as long
You
as I
are.
can get
You
my
do.
my golf rounds in at 6 a.m., I'll be at the office by 10 a.m. People aren't picking up their phone
Yeah.
calls at 8 or 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's all I care about is getting out
Yeah.
for golf
Yeah.
a couple times a week,
Yeah.
Well,
watching
I
Yankees.
know
So.
for me too, because at night, you know, like a lot of times my kids they're playing, you know, so I get a text message in here and there. But I know because, you know, it is so busy. If I don't get back to a text message, there's 20 more text messages that come in, and that one message that I was responding to disappears into the abyss.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then it completely,
Yeah.
you know, it leaves
It's a
my
little
mind.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
No free ads, or I want a little bit of a portion of this apple, but you need to allow us to pin more than nine texts. That needs to happen
Yeah.
ASAP.
Or to
So-
like pin just like one single message that you can, you know, go back to and not
Yeah.
just a group.
Yeah.
Because we were laughing today. So mom's like, I'm going to start a group text for this so we can keep track of this. And John and I are like, please, dear God, not one
Yeah.
more group text.
We're talking to you, Tim Cook. It
Yeah.
needs to get done ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, or we need like an AI,
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
these text
Yeah.
messages.
A
for us.
text assistant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But yeah.
what do you think? Do you think we got a good amount there, or
I think that's it. You definitely got a bunch of good content.
Yeah.
okay?
Good
Okay.
banter back and forth.
Should we do one
Let me-
more?
let me
Be
see
trying to
where
think of
we-
something
so,
else.
Yeah, we can cut for now. So